5-gamer. Had a decent night last night. Could have been a little better if I just didn't lock Lillard into all my big ones. But, was able to barely make the Cornet switch in time, which we know Sheets was out and I was supposed to text him, but it was moments. I had 3 moments of editing and sending the messages in Discord and trying to get Sheets up on the thing, and I couldn't get it all done in time. So my bad on that one. Luke Cornet, obviously, you needed to have him kind of to be relevant last night. It's one of those things. It looked like it might have been a great fade after the first quarter, but it happened. And we're on to tonight. Sheets, how you doing? And again, sorry for last night. I wish I could have done.
Well, no, it was fine. The most important thing is that I'm pretty sure I at least didn't get emphysema immediately. Like it's possible that I might have put it off for a couple of days.
Oh, you're lasting. You're still going a little longer, huh?
I lasted, yeah. So I went to this cigar bar. It was really, really cool, actually. But if you're into it, you know what I mean. Really nice club and stuff. And my friends, they were all like into their cigars and stuff. And so I had this great plan of. They said dinner was at 7, so I figured that there's no way they would let you smoke at dinner. So I would have dinner because it's supposed to be a nice dinner, and then as the guys would smoke, I'd probably just leave. But it didn't work out that way. I got there, they were already smoking. And so it was like 45 minutes of the nonstop cigar smoke, and then you had to like earn the dinner pretty much. But it was good. Listen, it was a lot of fun, and it was actually the General Cigar Lounge. So it was an interesting harbinger for Patton Kazire today. So
yeah,
we'll see what ended up happening with that. NBA. That's what it is when you go out. You're not around to react. But that's the way that goes. All kinds of like bizarre sweats today. Okay, so today into the weekend. So let me just kind of summarize what's going on here. So yes, we have NBA tonight and probably NBA tomorrow, whatever. So I'm going to be doing the MMA DFS breakdown today. Okay, then I'm going to do an MMA betting breakdown tomorrow. And then I'm going to do a lineup build for MMA probably late tomorrow night because I'm actually going to Toronto Saturday for the UFC card.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm going Saturday morning. I'll be back Sunday morning. So I'm not going to be around to do like the live NBA stuff. We're gonna do a preview of the NFL today. I will put sheets up for Saturday and Sunday games. So we have, a 2-game slate Saturday, 2-game slate Sunday, 4-game slate Saturday, Sunday, and 4 showdowns. Okay. Aside from that, no NFL, right? And then there's going to be hockey tonight. There's going to be there's like all kinds of stuff. And I have my friend Arkady is at the final table of some Borgata mystery bounty thing. He played it yesterday. And he actually got one of the mystery bounties, and he drew, and he got like $25,000 or something like that for that.
Oh, sick!
And now he's at the final table, and they're going to be doing a live stream, which I'm going to sweat probably like a half an hour, like $200,000 for first. So there's that going on. I put a random horse value bet from Gulfstream into the horse racing Discord about 5 minutes ago.
I saw that.
Yeah, so all kinds of degen possibilities for the next like 5 days, starting with the NBA today.
Well, let's get into it. We'll talk about the NBA. It's been a rough season, and we've got a little bit of like a gap between the first and last game. We've got 7:30 Eastern to 10 Eastern, which we haven't had as much of. But I just want to, if there's anything yesterday was saying, to me, it really is those starting lineups really do matter, and like not that it's always going to work out where Cornet gets 30 and Hauser gets 15. And the ownership at 80% of Cornet's always going to be right, and Hauser at 25 is not going to be. But it's just worth noting that it is probably good to, as much as possible, we want to keep up to date on those. I was sorry to see it so late and just barely get it in myself. But even that, I didn't lock in Cornet or anything. I actually tried to find a couple of pivots because I knew he'd be 80. I thought he'd actually be higher owned than he was. Anyway, we can get on to today. Let's talk about let's go game by game. We'll pull up sheets of screen.
Yeah, you know what? First look here. Yeah, we got some stuff, huh?
Yeah.
I'm literally just looking at it for the first time. Let me. How do I do this? Oh, I get over here. Entire screen. This. All right, so let's start.
Yeah.
What do we got? Chicago, Toronto first on the board.
Sure. Let's do that one.
Okay, so I'm seeing Gary Trent with like a 5.6 point per dollar projection and 30% ownership. So that to me qualifies as good value. So we'll have to talk about that. You have RJ Barrett, looks like a good play here. You have Thaddeus Young. You have Emmanuel Quickly, who did very, very nicely, actually. At least in the first half. I don't know how he closed out the game because I got, all my lineups were dead after
The
that.
game was like a 40-point game, so I don't know.
Oh, really? Oh,
At one point, it was like something like that.
Yeah, all these Toronto guys look really, really good. And then on the other side of that, Vooch looks fine, and Levine and DeRozan looks fine. I mean, right off the bat, you could probably stack this first game. And now also, again, I kind of glossed over it. You do have DeRozan going back to Toronto. Does that mean something? Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, right off the bat, I think we got a good game to go after.
Yeah, I agree. Starting on the Bulls side, it's a lot really depends on whether Patrick Williams plays because he's another one of the super values. At 3,700, you just get like you could play all these guys together and sort of do whatever you want. So Patrick Williams and I actually agree that I think DeRozan would be my favorite, and I'll use the narrative if as a tiebreaker basically between Levine and Vooch, who I think are fine also. But I like DeRozan and Patrick Williams. I think Kobe White also you could throw into that mix. I think all of those guys are totally reasonable. And on the Toronto side, I look, Gary Trent smashed last night, and his price is too cheap, so we're going to play him again. But I just want to point out that he basically played the perfect game and everything went perfectly. He made 8 out of 9 threes. That's already a sign. When a guy makes 8 out of 9 threes and only ends up with 36, when that already gets you 28, just something
the Norm Powell effect.
Yeah, so no necessarily complaining like crazy when Gary Trent doesn't get there tonight, because just realize how he did. Now, the good news for him is that the Bulls give up a lot of threes and maybe he runs it right back tonight. So the Thad Young, I'm just not buying the projections. I don't know. Like, I'm still interested in speculating on both Boucher and Jonte Porter instead at much lower ownership. Actually, like at no ownership. Jonte Porter started, got into foul trouble again right away, as he always does. And he probably will again tonight. But if he can actually get like that full, he had that 30-minute game. If he can get like that those minutes in the 20s, I think he's a really interesting contrarian value play on the slate. But Scotty Barnes, in order, it would be Gary Trent, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickly for me. Actually, it's very close between Quickly and Barrett. Maybe I put Quickly a little bit ahead of Barrett. But I think they're all very interesting. The only one I have as a full priority are Trent, and right now I do have DeRozan on the other side. But more, it's like any one Bull. I think you're in really good shape tonight to play one Bull. All right, we can move along.
So what is going on? I'm getting a. When's the last time I saw that? Marvin Bagley is the top point per dollar play on the slate. I guess that's because Gafford is out. Yeah, looks that way. And I guess you're going to have Bagley starting at 4K, or even if he doesn't start, whatever it is. Yeah, so that seems to make a lot of sense to me. Looks like a tough fade. I don't know. So far, he looks like the top point per dollar play on the slate, slightly ahead of somebody I've literally never heard of. We'll get to him in a minute. Literally never. So Marvin Bagley Jr., 4K. Are you fading it? What do you think of that? And then on the other side, Brunson. Oh boy, Brunson, Randall, and Hartenstein all look like good plays. Wow, 2 7:30 games with like all this action. It's unheard of.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. And this is so Bagley. Look, let's just see again. This is an important one to see if he's starting. By the way, so
does it matter?
Yeah, because he just moved over to the teams. We have no idea what his role is going to be or anything. And we're just presuming him starting. Like, if he's not starting and Koulibaly's starting, then Koulibaly's going to look like the better play. You know what I mean? And I think they would start him because of the size of the Knicks. And also they did just get him, so may as well see what you got. We know there's a lot of ways it could go wrong, but there's also some ways that if you don't have it, you're completely dead. So I'm going to just go ahead and, Bagley's probably at the moment, assuming that he starts, going to be in most of my lineups. I have no interest in anything else from Washington. The thing is, even if he doesn't cheat, you're probably right, because this game has got it's funny because there's always different kinds of blowouts in games, right? Like it depends on the type of blowout, I guess. But there is some blowout run that he would get, like if they're down 20 and they're struggling to in down low, whatever it is, like you could just see more minutes for him in sort of both situations. So maybe it doesn't matter, and maybe you get the lower ownership if he somehow doesn't start. I do think we are projecting him to start though. On the Knicks side, it's a good spot for everybody on the back-to-back, but I'm having a hard time clicking one name that I feel really good about. So I probably am going to be off this. I also wouldn't be shocked if someone sat on a back-to-back home against Washington. So just keep an eye out for the Knicks after the morning shoot-around. That's all I can do with them for right now because I just have a feeling, and if somebody sits, then we have a whole different slate than we have everybody in these games. Hey, we may not even need to make it to the later games. We can end up just doing Chicago, Toronto, Washington, New York. But there are some other guys coming up. Anyway, we just have to see what the Knicks have on the back-to-back if they do, in fact, sit anybody. They've been on a roll, so maybe they don't, but we'll see. All right. We are going to go to OKC and Utah. This should be a good one. How about Utah, by the way? After a terrible start, the freaking second hottest team in the NBA behind the Clippers, 6 in a row now they've won. They're now 22-20 when they were literally like in second to they were one of the 5 awful teams this year, and they've really turned it around by playing, shocker, by playing some of your better players actually. So congrats to Utah and just at least making it a season and making a nice playoff push. Anyway, here we go. All right, so let's go through it. I'm
not really getting too much if you want. I have Shea on OKC, looks good. Good enough, I guess. And then on the other side, I have Lowry Markkanen. Not really getting too much. We could try to stack John Stockton and Karl Malone maybe, but I don't think they're available tonight. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe just those two, Shea and Markkanen. Is there value I'm missing? Is there anybody else to play, or what do we got?
Not really, but I do like Shea for what it's worth. I think you see him have a big game tonight. Probably worth noting for anybody who's been watching him lately, Jalen Williams is basically
he's great.
He's been like Shea like 0.75 or something. Like he's
like takes it to the rack too. He's really good.
He's awesome. So I actually think Shea, then Jalen Williams, and then Chet for my interest. Nothing especially high except for Shea. On the Utah side, who's been really, 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 really good. Nothing that really stands out as being awesome. I don't mind the idea of Chris Dunn. So there's a lot of people out there. Chris Dunn is, he's been around the league. People called him a bust of a number 5 overall pick. This guy has made their defense into one of the better, it's a whole different team when he's out there defensively. And there's a lot of people in the GMs out there that would say Chris Dunn is one of, if not the premier defensive guard in the NBA. They really think that the world of him. And he sort of transformed their team a little bit. The problem is that also means that all those minutes that are going to Clarkson, Sexton, there's just more volatility. But I will go out on a limb and say that Jordan Clarkson is going to have a big game tonight. And he's going to have low ownership, I believe. And I think he's a really good tournament play. Plays really, really well at home. It's a good pace matchup for him. So he's my most interested one. He'll be a little lower owned than Lowry. If you want to play Lowry Markkanen, no issue whatsoever. I just personally like the Jordan Clarkson play tonight.
Who do you like more? I guess we'll talk later about it, but between these spend ups, you have Shea. There's really nobody. You have Halliburton coming off the injury, I guess, and then Sabonis. So maybe Shea is just a good play, just on raw points here.
Yeah, I agree, and we do have enough value. Yeah, so I think that's true.
All right. So speaking of which, I didn't see what the deal is. It says Halliburton, I guess, upgraded to questionable or whatever. And then they're getting the trade, right? So you have Siakam. I don't know what to make of this really. I don't know what to do. If they say Halliburton is in.
I don't think Siakam's playing tonight.
Okay. But if they say Halliburton is in, and that's with no minutes restrictions, no whatever, it's he's got to be in play, no?
Absolutely.
Okay, because he's projected for nothing. I guess that's because they're hedging.
They're hedging their thing. It's the other sites outside of SaberSim have him a lot higher like at 47, but still not probably as high as it should be.
Yeah, I got him at 47 total. I didn't do a full run though, just a couple of sites.
Yeah.
And in Indiana, I mean, Sabonis looks like a good play. I mean, looks like a really good play actually. So, so who do you like more, Sabonis or Shea? No, totally different positions, right? I just happen to have them projected exactly the same.
Yeah.
I do have Shea with a little higher ownership. I guess because center, Bagley's at center, so that's what makes Sabonis lower owned, I imagine. I don't know. What do you like from this game?
Yeah, this is so obviously a massive double revenge, whatever you want to call it, spot. Halliburton, and even though it helped both their careers, so I guess you could take it to mean whatever you will. I'll bite on the Halliburton thing. The problem is, it's actually the real question is, who do you like better, Halliburton or Shea, if you're going to play Halliburton?
Right. Right.
Shea would be the answer. That I think raw points, like logically everything. Give me Halliburton back in Sacramento. I think I'm gonna have a hard time resisting that one. If there's a way, and I think there is a way, I think you could play Halliburton, Shea, and then you got Sabonis, because I really think Sabonis is a terrific play today against the former team and all that. Now there's other ways to build in these games, and this is, remember, Indiana's going to play lightning fast and all that. Malik Monk, De'Aaron Fox, Keegan Murray, all of these guys I think are really strong plays as well. So if you didn't have the money for Halliburton, I would encourage people to get a little bit of exposure to the Sacramento side. And on the Indiana side, other than Halliburton, you've got Neesmith projecting well. I'm okay with the. We just got to see. You got Halliburton questionable, Mathurin questionable, Neesmith questionable. We already know there's no Siakam here. We already know they lost in the trade. They traded Bruce Brown. So, depending on what Mathurin and Neesmith's status are, it's really gonna potentially open up like Buddy Hield, another revenge spot right there. So there's a lot of stuff to sort of wait on with respect to those guys. But even if those guys, even Mathurin and Neesmith play, I still think Hield is a good tournament dart. I think Halliburton's a very strong play. I think Miles Turner's a really strong play, and he's going to be low owned because of center position and everything. So I'm sort of in on getting this game and then using the fringy pieces in the other ones, for me personally.
Okay, so here is my question for you. My question is, who is Gregory Jackson?
GG Jackson. So he's been playing with them for the last, a little bit. He was a D League for a little bit. I feel completely comfortable with him and making him a priority play. We can only go on what we're seeing with their current construction, and they're giving him minutes and he's producing. And I think that it's just one you play.
All right. So I literally have not pulled him up on my even on the game log yet, because I want to predict what I think I'm going to see. Okay. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But what I'm predicting, I see. Well, usually when I come up with these things, like who is this? This guy shows up out of nowhere. Is a guy that played like 4 minutes a game, and in his last game played like 27.
No, well, let me just tell you what's happened.
Let me see. I really haven't looked yet.
Well, they've lost like 7 players.
Okay.
So it doesn't really matter. What
position is he? Power forward. Let's see.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter because they lost 7 players.
So no, it's actually not like that. So it's not the first time. So it's like 2 games in a row. He's played 27 minutes. Okay. So let me ask you this. I guess it was 3 days ago or whatever it was. Was he part of a regular slate, and was he owned in that last game?
Why does it matter?
That would be nice to know. See, these are the things I would like to. I'd like to know that. I'd like to know if people are on him already.
I don't think for the Knicks game they were. I'm sure they were for the Golden State game. That was the 15th. What was that day?
Yeah,
actually, maybe not. No, I don't. I guess he didn't project all that well because we thought maybe the Knicks was an aberration.
Okay.
But I'm not very interested because I don't think the people who are doing it are smarter than the people who are running the thing. So it doesn't really factor into my decision making whether he was owned on a previous slate. Except for, you're looking at trends. The fact is he's going to be 1,000,000% owned tonight. And I'm probably just going to roll with it just because the trends are all in that right direction. they're literally missing. I mean, Steven Adams, John Morant, Brandon Clark, Desmond Bain, Laravia, Smart, and Rose. And Smart, Laravia, and Bain are all recent. So I'm going to ride the hotness of the stuff. But if you wanted to fade it, I mean, if you're
no, it looks good to me. I mean, it totally looks perfectly fine. The other guy I have from this game, I have Jaren Jackson Jr. 7,700. Is that what he is? 7,700? Yeah, 7,600. He looks like a good play. And then Minnesota. I mean, you could always play Anthony Edwards, I suppose. I don't think you need to play Luke Kennard for Memphis today. He's still getting 18% ownership. I don't think I need to do that today. I think there's plenty of value where I don't need to play him.
Right.
I mean, if you play Bagley and Gregory Jackson, that's literally all the value you need. I mean, then you could play Gary Trent, but what are we even doing it for? What are we even getting for that?
Right.
Yeah. So both Jacksons look good to me, and yeah, I think the Gregory Jackson looks like somebody I don't want to fade either.
Yeah, and I guess that's where I'm at too. But I guess that, like, just in the interest of making, like, he's not going to start unless they change something. Just throwing things out there. They are still shorthanded though. But you could end up seeing more minutes for Conchar instead. I just don't think they would stop it. He also had this like little moment after the game the other day where he was on TNT. It was kind of like it went sort of viral, but he was just so shocked that Shaq would call him. So he was just blown away because he never thought he'd be able to talk to the NBA on TNT guys. So he's sort of like everyone's darling right now. I think that they're going to let him play minutes. One guy who's interesting in this game that I don't think that many people are getting to is Jaren Jackson Jr. If this game stays reasonably close, you probably think that both, I guess he and Kennard would probably have to have a lot to do with it. I don't know why this game is only a 12-point spread. This feels like it could have been Minnesota minus 20, I swear. But it is Minnesota on a back-to-back. I guess that's one thing it's going for it. But you look at this Memphis lineup, and, oh, man, they're going to have a hard time in this one. So I think it's probably just going to end up being Jackson for me. I have no problem with the Edwards price. No problem with Towns or Gobert, but I just don't think I need to do any of that. And keep an eye out. Minnesota, this is a spot where, if it wasn't like a little bit of a rivalry they had, I think they would consider resting somebody on a back-to-back, but I don't think they're going to, probably because that we'll see after the shoot-arounds. But as of right now, I'm not getting to anything on Minnesota, just Memphis for me. Anything else we should? So I've got my priority guys, then some other play. So Trent, DeRozan, Bagley, Shea, Clarkson, Halliburton, Sabonis, Gregory Jackson, Gigi Jackson. So those are the main ones. I'm also going to probably use I'm considering using a little bit of Jonte Porter, and I wish we had Sabonis at forward eligible, considering Buddy Hield, considering Koulibaly as a pivot off of the Bagley chalk. And those are, I think, the big decision points for me today. But I'm going to try and keep it fairly tight, not a huge slate, try to find something I can do a little bit different later. But as of right now, those are the priority guys I've got.
Yeah. I didn't run a Saberson build, but I'm pretty sure I know what it's going to say. I would imagine it's going to be Bagley and Gregory Jackson in every lineup, right? Is that the story?
Bagley, I would imagine Bagley and Gregory Jackson are basically every lineup.
But what do you get for that? You know what? I did run something, so let me just see. I'm actually getting, in this first build that I made, 100% Bagley, 96% Jackson, and then they start, distributing, you know what I mean? Like what we get for that. So it looks like a middling type build. I'm getting like RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, like all from that game. Look at this. The Kobe White, 40% from that game as well.
Yeah.
And then Shea would be the first spend up. So, yeah. So in answer to the question, what do you get for the Bagley and Gregory Jackson? You get to play all these 7K guys. You know what I mean? With sort of impunity.
Well, actually, like if Patrick Williams is available also, then you have the 3,700 on top of it. My first build was Shea, Halliburton, Sabonis.
Oh wow.
And it wasn't tricky to do. You just play, Williams, Trent, Jackson. You can figure out the other piece, or you could pick from some other pieces. That's the way I'm treating it. We'll see how that works out. And look, keep an eye out. We do have a couple of trades that went through. So if people are able to clear in time, and like Siaka, like things are going to change, projection wise with that stuff. So lots going to change between now and then. I have a doctor this morning. I'll post my normal content in the NBA Discord, but it's probably going to be very early this afternoon. And Sheets, anything else before we start a new video for football?
No, I need 5 minutes to make a call, and then I'll be right back.
All right, sounds good. Good luck, everybody.